Jake Harrison stood at the front window of the big spaceship called UES Leviathan. He watched Earth get smaller and smaller as they moved away from home. The planet looked like a blue marble floating in the dark space. Soon it was just a tiny dot behind them. Jake was the second in command of this huge ship. The Leviathan was the biggest warship humans had ever built. It was almost 2 kilometers long from front to back. That was longer than most cities were wide. The ship was made of thick metal and had weapons all over it. It looked like a floating city built for war. "We are now in hyperspace, sir," said Amy Rogers. She was sitting at the navigation desk. Her hands moved across the glowing computer screens. The screens showed where they were going. They were heading to a star system called Kepler 442. That was where they would meet aliens for the first time. Captain Lisa Monroe was the boss of the whole ship. She was reading reports about the aliens they were going to meet. These aliens were called the Zephyrian Collective. The aliens had been watching human TV and radio signals for many years. They knew humans had finally learned how to travel faster than light. Now the aliens wanted to meet them. But humans had been getting ready for this day too. They knew aliens might not be friendly. That was why they built the Leviathan to be so strong and dangerous. Ryan Blake came up from the lower parts of the ship. He was the chief engineer. His uniform had blue stains on it from working on the engines. "Everything is working perfect, Captain," he said. "The quantum drives are running great. All our weapons and shields are ready to fight." The Leviathan was not like the pretty spaceships that most aliens built. Other races in space like to make their ships look beautiful with smooth curves and shiny surfaces. Human ships looked different. They looked like floating metal boxes covered in guns and armor. Where other aliens built ships to look nice, humans built ships to win wars. Jake walked around the bridge and looked at all the crew members working. There were dozens of people at different stations. Some watched the sensors that could see far into space. Others controlled the weapon systems. The bridge was the brain of the ship, and everyone had an important job to do. "Sir, we should reach the alien meeting point in 3 days," Amy said. She was looking at her navigation computers. "The hyperspace tunnel is stable. We are traveling much faster than the speed of light." Captain Monroe nodded. She was a tough woman who had been in the Space Navy for 20 years. She had fought in the war against the Mars colonies. She knew how to handle dangerous situations. "Good work, Lieutenant Rogers. Make sure we drop out of hyperspace exactly where we planned. I do not want any surprises." Jake remembered the day when humans first detected alien signals. It was 5 years ago. Scientists picked up strange radio waves that were clearly made by intelligent beings. The signals came from faraway star systems. At first, people on Earth were excited. Finally, proof that humans were not alone in the universe. But the excitement quickly turned to worry. If there were aliens out there, some of them might be hostile. Earth needed to be ready to defend itself. That was when the government decided to build the Leviathan and other warships like it. The ship had taken 3 years to build. It used the best technology humans had. The armor was made from special metal alloys that could stop almost any attack. The shields could absorb huge amounts of energy. The weapons could destroy targets from very far away. "Commander Harrison," called Danny Foster from the communications station, "I am picking up some strange signals. They might be from the aliens we are going to meet." Jake walked over to Danny's station. The young officer was listening to weird sounds coming through his headphones. The sounds were like music, but not like any music humans made. It was beautiful, but also strange. "Can you understand what they are saying?" Jake asked. "Not yet, sir. But the computer is working on it. The signals use mathematics, so we should be able to figure it out soon." Captain Monroe came over to listen, too. "Those are definitely alien signals. They sound peaceful, but we cannot be sure. Remember, these aliens have been watching us for years. They know about our wars and our weapons. They might be afraid of us, or they might want to control us." The bridge was quiet except for the soft humming of the ship's engines. Everyone was thinking about what would happen when they met the aliens. This would be the most important moment in human history. Everything could change in the next few days. Jake looked out the window again. Space was full of stars, And somewhere out there were the aliens. Were they friendly explorers who wanted to share knowledge? Or were they conquerors who wanted to make humans their slaves? Soon they would find out. The Leviathan continued moving through hyperspace toward its destiny. Inside the ship, over 2,000 crew members were getting ready for first contact. Some were excited, some were scared, but all of them knew they were making history. Captain Monroe made an announcement to the whole ship. Attention all crew. In 3 days we will meet an alien race for the first time. This is a great honor, but also a great responsibility. We represent all of humanity. We will be respectful but also strong. We will show these aliens that humans are not afraid and cannot be pushed around. Stay alert and be ready for anything. The crew members at their stations nodded. They understood the importance of their mission. The Leviathan was not just a ship. It was a symbol of human determination and strength. Whatever happened next, the aliens would learn that humans were not weak prey animals. They were predators who had fought their way to the top of their world, and now they were ready to fight for their place in the galaxy. 3 days later, the Leviathan dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler star system. Jake Harrison felt his stomach twist as the ship came back to normal speed. The stars stopped looking like long white lines and became tiny points of light again. Hyperspace exit complete, Amy Rogers reported from her station. We are exactly where we planned to be. Captain Lisa Monroe stood up from her command chair. Good work. Now let us see what is waiting for us. The main screen at the front of the bridge came to life. It showed the space around them in perfect detail. 2 bright stars hung in the distance, much bigger and brighter than Earth's sun. But what caught everyone's attention was not the stars. 12. Alien spaceships floated in perfect formation about 50 kilometers away. The ships were beautiful in a way that took Jake's breath away. They looked like they were made of liquid silver. Their hulls curved and flowed like water frozen in time. Each ship was smooth and shiny, reflecting the light of the twin stars. Wow, whispered Amy. They are gorgeous. Jake had to agree. The alien ships looked like works of art. They were nothing like the boxy, weapon-covered human ships. These vessels seemed to have been built by artists, not soldiers. But Jake noticed something else. Each alien ship was only about as big as a human destroyer. They were much smaller than the massive Leviathan. Sir, I am getting readings on their ships, said Kevin Murphy from the weapons station. Kevin was an older man with gray hair and many years of military experience. They have energy shields and what looks like plasma weapons, but their ships are light, not much armor. Incoming transmission, Danny Foster called out. They are sending signals on many different radio frequencies. The computer says they are using math as a language. Captain Monroe straightened her uniform. Put it on the main screen, Danny. Let us meet our first aliens. The screen changed to show the inside of one of the alien ships. Jake's eyes went wide. He was looking at the first alien face any human had ever seen. The creature had a long, narrow head with huge dark eyes. Its skin was pale and seemed to glow with a soft light. It had no hair and its ears were much bigger than human ears. The alien spoke, and the computer translated its words into English. Its voice sounded musical, like singing. Greetings, young species of the third planet. I am High Coordinator Veltar of the Zephyrian Collective. We have watched your kind for many of your years. We have seen that you have learned to travel between the stars. We are here to welcome you into our galactic community. Captain Monroe stepped forward so the alien could see her. This is Captain Lisa Monroe of the United Earth ship Leviathan. We thank you for coming to meet us, High Coordinator Veltar. The alien's large eyes looked at Captain Monroe, then seemed to look around the bridge behind her. Jake thought he saw the alien's expression change slightly. Maybe it was surprise or confusion. Captain Monroe, the alien continued, your species is very young compared to ours. We have ruled this part of the galaxy for 10,000 of your years. We have brought peace and order to hundreds of worlds. We offer the same gift to your people. Gift? Captain Monroe asked. Her voice stayed calm, but Jake could see her jaw tighten. Yes, Veltar said. We will protect your world and guide your development. In return, you will follow our laws and accept our wisdom. This is how all young species join the galactic community. It is for your own good." The bridge became very quiet. Jake felt anger starting to build in his chest. The alien was talking to them like they were children who needed to be told what to do. Captain Monroe's voice stayed level, but it became colder. "High Coordinator, humanity appreciates your offer, but we prefer to make our own decisions about our future." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Captain, you do not understand your situation. Your species has only just learned to leave your homeworld. We have been traveling the stars since before your civilization existed. This is not a request. It is simply how things work in our galaxy." "I see," Captain Monroe said. "And what happens if we refuse your generous offer?" Veltar's glowing skin seemed to pulse brighter. "Then you will learn why the Zephyrian Collective has remained in power for so long. No species has ever successfully opposed us. Your single ship cannot stand against our fleet." Jake looked at the tactical display. 12 alien ships against one human ship. On paper, it looked like bad odds. But Jake knew something the aliens did not. Human ships were not built like alien ships. They were built for war. "High Coordinator," Captain Monroe said. "I think there has been a misunderstanding. Let me be very clear. Humanity does not accept ultimatums from anyone. We have spent our entire history fighting for our freedom, and we are not about to give it up now." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Your bravery is foolish, Captain. We have weapons that can crack planets. Our plasma cannons can melt through any armor. Your primitive technology cannot protect you." "Primitive?" Captain Monroe asked. There was something dangerous in her voice now. "High Coordinator, before you make threats, perhaps you should learn more about human technology." Veltar gestured to someone off-screen. The tactical display showed the alien ships beginning to move. They spread out into an attack formation, their elegant hulls gliding through space like deadly dancers. "You have one last chance, Captain Monroe," the alien said. "Surrender now, and your crew will be treated well. Continue to resist, and we will destroy your ship and report to your world that their representatives died in an unfortunate accident." Jake watched Captain Monroe's face. He had served under her for 3 years, and he had never seen her back down from a fight. She was not going to start now. The captain activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the captain. We are about to engage hostile alien forces. Battle stations. All crew to battle stations. This is not a drill." Throughout the ship, alarm bells started ringing. Red lights flashed in the corridors. 2,000 crew members ran to their combat positions. In the engine room, Ryan Blake began bringing the weapon systems to full power. In the missile bays, crews loaded the most powerful weapons humanity had ever created. "Captain," Veltar said, his musical voice now sounding irritated, "you are making a terrible mistake. No single ship can defeat a collective battle fleet." Captain Monroe smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "High Coordinator, you are about to learn something important about humans. We do not surrender, we do not give up, and we do not lose." Starbound, screen went dark as the alien cut the communication. On the tactical display, the 12 enemy ships finished moving into attack positions. Their weapons began to glow with deadly energy. Jake took his position at the tactical station next to Kevin Murphy. "Well, Murphy," he said, "looks like we are about to make history." The old soldier grinned. "Yes, sir. Let us show these pretty aliens what human engineering can do." The Leviathan's massive engines came to full power. The ship's hundreds of weapons, systems activated, every piece of armor plating locked into combat configuration. The most powerful warship humanity had ever built was ready for its first real fight. In the distance, the alien ships began their attack run. They moved with grace and beauty, like deadly ballet dancers performing their final dance. They had no idea they were about to face a predator that had been shaped by millions of years of evolution and thousands of years of warfare. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The 12 alien ships moved through space like silver dancers. Their hulls caught the light from the twin stars and reflected it in beautiful patterns. Each ship was about 300 meters long and shaped like a smooth teardrop. They looked fast and graceful as they spread out to surround the Leviathan. Jake Harrison watched the enemy formation on his tactical screen. The aliens were positioning themselves in a perfect circle around the human ship. It was a classic attack pattern, designed to hit the target from all sides at once. "They know what they are doing," Kevin Murphy said from the weapons station. "This is a standard military formation. These aliens have fought battles before." Captain Lisa Monroe stood in the center of the bridge, watching everything calmly. "How long until they are in firing position?" "About 2 minutes, Captain," Amy Rogers reported. "They are moving slowly, probably trying to scare us." "Amy, are our engines ready for combat maneuvers?" the captain asked. "Yes, ma'am. We can move in any direction you want, but we are much bigger than they are. We cannot turn as fast as their ships." Jake looked at the size comparison on his screen. The Leviathan was massive compared to the alien vessels. It was like comparing a battleship to a speedboat. The alien ships could dance around them, but the human ship was built like a floating fortress. "Sir?" Danny Foster called from communications. "The alien commander is trying to contact us again." "Put him on screen," Captain Monroe ordered. "Hi." Coordinator Veltar appeared on the main display. His pale, glowing face looked angry now. His large, dark eyes were narrowed, and his voice had lost its musical quality. "Captain Monroe, this is your final warning. Order your ship to power down its weapons and prepare to be boarded. If you comply, your crew will be treated as prisoners of war. If you resist, they will die." Captain Monroe crossed her arms. "Hi. Coordinator, I have a counteroffer. Take your ships and leave this system immediately. If you fire on us, you will discover why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy." The alien made a sound like breaking glass. Jake thought it might be alien laughter, but it did not sound happy. "Dangerous? You have 1 ship. We have 12. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Your weapons are primitive compared to ours. Watch, and learn what real power looks like." The alien's image disappeared from the screen. Immediately, the tactical display lit up with warning signals. All 12 enemy ships were charging their weapons. Energy readings spiked across the board. "Here they come," Kevin Murphy announced. "All ships are powering up plasma cannons. Looks like they are going to fire everything at once." Jake felt his heart start beating faster. This was it. Humanity's first space battle was about to begin. Everything they had trained for, everything they had built, would be tested in the next few minutes. "Ryan," Captain Monroe called to the engine room through the intercom. "How are our shields?" "Shields at maximum power, Captain," came the reply from Chief Engineer Ryan Blake. "All defensive systems are online. We are as ready as we will ever be." "Kevin, target the lead ship," the captain ordered, "but do not fire until I give the command." "Targeting." "The enemy flagship," Murphy confirmed. "Railguns loaded and ready." The alien ships finished their charge cycle all at the same time. 12 bright lights appeared on their hulls where the plasma cannons were located. The lights grew brighter and brighter until they were almost too bright to look at. "Incoming." "Fire!" Amy Rogers shouted. 12 beams of superheated plasma shot out from the alien ships. They were beautiful and terrible at the same time, like 12 lightning bolts made of pure energy. The beams converged on the Leviathan from all directions, hitting the ship's shields in a coordinated attack. The bridge shook slightly as the energy struck home. The lights flickered for a moment, then came back to full brightness. Jake felt the deck vibrate under his feet, but it was not as bad as he had expected. "Damage report," Captain Monroe called out. "Forward shields took the brunt of it, Ryan," Blake reported from engineering. "Shield strength is down to 94%. Hull integrity is perfect, no casualties." Jake could not believe what he was hearing. The aliens had hit them with everything they had, and it barely scratched the paint. The Leviathan's shields had absorbed an attack that should have destroyed any normal ship. On the main screen, they could see the alien flagship. Through the window, High Coordinator Veltar looked shocked. His glowing skin had turned a different color, and his large eyes were even wider than before. "Impossible," came the alien's voice over the radio. "Our plasma cannons can destroy any ship. Your vessel should be nothing but debris by now." Captain Monroe smiled coldly. "High Coordinator, let me explain something about human engineering. We do not build ships to look pretty. We build them to survive and fight. Every human warship is designed to take punishment and keep fighting. She gestured to Jake, who began displaying the Leviathan's technical specifications on the screen, where the aliens could see them. The UES Leviathan has armor made from titanium steel composites layered 3 meters thick. Our shields can absorb energy equivalent to a nuclear explosion. Our hull is designed to survive impacts from asteroids traveling at interplanetary speeds. The Mariao alien commander's face showed what Jake thought was fear. How is such defense possible? No species builds such heavily armored vessels. Most species do not come from a planet that spends all its time trying to kill everything that lives on it, Jake replied. Earth is a world of hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, ice ages, and predators. Humans learned to build things that last or we died. Captain Monroe took over the explanation. Our species has been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have fought with sticks and stones, swords and shields, guns and bombs, and nuclear weapons. Every human ship carries the lessons we learned from all of those battles. The alien ships were regrouping, trying to find a better attack angle, but Jake could see they were confused and frightened. Their perfect formation was starting to break apart. High Coordinator, Captain Monroe continued, your species has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, but you have ruled over civilizations that forgot how to fight. You have never faced a species that never stopped preparing for war. The tactical display showed the alien ships moving erratically now. Some were trying to get closer, others were backing away. They had lost their coordination. Sir, Kevin Murphy reported. Their energy signatures are fluctuating. I think they are trying to overload their weapons for a more powerful attack. Let them try, Captain Monroe said. Kevin, prepare to return fire. One shot, target the flagship. Show them what human weapons can do. Aye aye, Captain. One railgun round targeted on the enemy command ship. Jake watched as the weapon system locked onto the beautiful alien flagship. The railgun was humanity's answer to energy weapons. Instead of using plasma or lasers, it fired solid metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The projectiles were simple, but when they hit something at a significant fraction of light speed, they released enormous amounts of kinetic energy. High Coordinator, Captain Monroe said over the radio. You have one last chance. Withdraw your ships and leave this system. If you attack us again, we will defend ourselves. The alien's reply was filled with rage. Never. The collective does not retreat from primitive species. We will increase power to maximum and destroy your ship. All 12 alien vessels began glowing brighter than before. They were putting everything they had into their weapons systems. It was going to be their final desperate attack. Captain Monroe nodded to Kevin Murphy. Fire when ready, Sergeant. The railgun fired with a sound like thunder. A tungsten rod the size of a telephone pole shot out of the Leviathan's hull at 12% of light speed. It crossed the distance to the alien flagship in less than a second. The beautiful silver ship simply came apart. The railgun projectile passed completely through the vessel, tearing it into pieces. The elegant curves and artistic lines were replaced by twisted metal and glowing debris. High Coordinator Veltar's final transmission was cut short as his ship disintegrated around him. The remaining 11 alien ships stopped their attack immediately. They hung in space motionless as if they could not believe what they had just seen. Jake looked at the tactical display. One shot. One human weapon had destroyed their flagship like it was made of paper. The aliens finally understood what they were really fighting against. The pieces of the alien flagship floated through space like glittering confetti. What had been a beautiful silver ship just moments before was now nothing but twisted metal and debris. The other 11 alien vessels hung motionless in the darkness, as if frozen in shock. Jake Harrison stared at the tactical display. The railgun had fired only once, but the result was devastating. The tungsten projectile had punched straight through the enemy ship like it was made of paper. The kinetic energy had torn the vessel apart from the inside. My God, whispered Amy Rogers from her station. We destroyed their flagship with one shot. Captain Lisa Monroe stood calmly in the center of the bridge. Her face showed no emotion, but Jake could see the satisfaction in her eyes. Kevin, what is the status of the remaining enemy ships? Kevin Murphy checked his instruments. They have powered down their weapons, Captain. I think they are in shock. Their formation has completely fallen apart. Danny, are we receiving any transmissions from the alien fleet? Danny Foster listened to his headphones and shook his head. Nothing, Captain. Complete radio silence. I think we broke their spirit along with their ship. The bridge crew watched the alien vessels on the main screen. The remaining ships were moving randomly now like lost animals. Some were backing away from the Leviathan, others were turning in circles. Their perfect military formation was gone. Sir, Amy reported, I am detecting energy surges from several of their ships. It looks like they are trying to restart their weapon systems. Captain Monroe nodded. They are probably confused and scared. Their leader is dead, and they just watched their most advanced weapons fail completely, but they are still dangerous if they decide to attack again. Jake moved closer to the captain. Ma'am, what are your orders? Should we destroy the rest of them? Not yet, Commander. Let us see if they are smart enough to learn from what just happened. Danny, open a channel to all the alien ships. Channel open, Captain. Captain Monroe stepped forward so the aliens could see her clearly. Attention, Zephyrian vessels. I am Captain Lisa Monroe of the United Earthship Leviathan. Your leader attacked us without provocation, and we defended ourselves. We did not want this fight, but we finished it. She paused, letting her words sink in. You now have a choice. You can continue fighting and share the fate of your flagship, or you can listen to what I have to tell you about humanity. For several long minutes, there was no response. Then a weak signal came through from one of the alien ships. The voice was different from High Coordinator Veltar. It sounded younger and more frightened. Human ship, this is Sub-Coordinator Kethvan of the vessel Star Whisper. High Coordinator Veltar is dead. We do not understand how your primitive weapons could destroy our flagship so easily. Captain Monroe's expression softened slightly. Sub-Coordinator, your weapons are not primitive, but they are designed for a different kind of warfare. Let me explain the difference between human and Zephyrian military philosophy. She gestured to Jake, who began displaying information about the two different types of ships on the main screen. Your vessels are beautiful and efficient, the captain continued. They are fast, maneuverable, and built with advanced technology. They are perfect for fighting other civilizations that build ships the same way. But humans do not build ships like other civilizations. The screen showed detailed images of the Leviathan next to one of the alien vessels. The contrast was stark. The human ship looked like a floating metal fortress covered in weapons and armor. The alien ship looked like a work of art, all smooth curves and elegant lines. Sub-Coordinator, your species has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. During that time, you have brought peace and order to hundreds of worlds. That is a great achievement, but it has made you soft. You have forgotten what real warfare looks like. Jake took over the explanation. Humans come from a planet that is constantly trying to kill us. We have survived ice ages that lasted thousands of years. We have lived through plagues that killed half our population. We have fought wars against each other using every weapon we could imagine. Every human ship is built with one simple idea, Captain Monroe added. It must be able to survive anything the universe can throw at it, and it must be able to destroy anything that threatens human lives. We do not build ships to look beautiful. We build them to win wars. The alien voice came back, sounding confused and afraid. But how do you survive as a civilization? If your species is so violent, why have you not destroyed yourselves? Jake smiled grimly. We almost did many times. But we learned something important along the way. The same instincts that make us dangerous to our enemies also make us loyal. To our friends, humans will fight to the death to protect the people they care about. Every person on this ship represents a species that clawed its way to the top of the food chain, Captain Monroe said. We did not get to the stars by being peaceful. We got here by being survivors. And now that we are here, we will not let anyone take our freedom away. The tactical display showed several of the alien ships moving closer together, as if seeking comfort in numbers. Jake could understand their confusion. They had ruled the galaxy for millennia, and now they had met a species that could destroy their best ships with ease. Sub-Coordinator, Captain Monroe continued, I want you to understand something important. We did not come here to conquer or destroy your civilization. We came here hoping to make friends. But when your leader threatened us and demanded our surrender, he made a fatal mistake. She gestured to the debris field that had once been the flagship. High Coordinator Veltar thought he was dealing with a primitive species that would be easy to intimidate. He did not realize he was threatening a civilization that has spent its entire existence preparing for exactly this kind of confrontation. Our ship carries enough firepower to destroy planets, Jake added. Our weapons can reach targets from the other side of a solar system. Our armor can withstand direct hits from nuclear weapons. And this is just one ship. Earth has dozens more like it, and we are building more every day. The alien voice was barely a whisper now. How many ships does your fleet have? Captain Monroe smiled coldly. Sub-Coordinator, that is classified information. But I will tell you this. Every human world is protected by ships like the Leviathan. Every human colony has weapons that can reach across space to destroy threats before they get close. We learned long ago that the best defense is overwhelming offensive capability. Jake watched the alien ships on the screen. They were still moving erratically, clearly trying to decide what to do next. Some seemed to be preparing to flee, while others appeared to be considering another attack. Sub-Coordinator, you and your ships have two choices, Captain Monroe said. You can try to fight us and learn why no human ship has ever been defeated in battle, or you can be smart, go home and tell your leaders what you have learned here today. But if you choose to fight, Jake added, remember this. We destroyed your flagship with one shot from one weapon. The Leviathan has hundreds of weapons just like it, and all of them are aimed at your ships right now. The bridge fell silent as everyone waited for the aliens' response. The next few minutes would determine whether this first contact would end in further bloodshed, or if the aliens would be wise enough to retreat. On the tactical display, the 11 remaining alien ships continued to drift aimlessly. Their beautiful hulls caught the starlight, but Jake now saw them differently. They were not symbols of advanced civilization. They were relics of a peaceful age that was coming to an end. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same again. Sub-Coordinator, Captain Monroe said quietly, what is your decision? For several long minutes, space was silent except for the soft hum of the Leviathan's engines. The 11 remaining alien ships drifted in the darkness like lost ghosts. Their beautiful silver hulls reflected the light from the twin stars, but there was no beauty in their movements now. They moved like wounded animals, confused and afraid. Jake Harrison watched the tactical display and waited. The aliens had to make a choice. They could surrender and go home, or they could fight and die like their leader. Jake hoped they would be smart enough to choose surrender. Captain, Amy Rogers whispered, I am detecting energy buildups in their engine systems. Some of them might be preparing to run away. Captain Lisa Monroe nodded. That would be the wise choice, but I have a feeling they are not going to be wise. Danny Foster suddenly sat up straight at his communication station. Captain, I am receiving multiple transmissions from the alien fleet. They are talking to each other on encrypted channels. The computer is trying to break the code. Can you tell what they are saying? Jake asked. Not yet, sir, but their voices sound angry and scared. I think they are arguing about what to do next. Kevin Murphy looked up from his weapons station. Captain, 3 of their ships are moving into a new attack formation. It looks like they want to try again. Captain, Monroe sighed. Some people never learn. How many ships are moving to attack? 3 ships, ma'am. The other 8 are backing away. I think the fleet is splitting up. Jake shook his head. He felt sorry for the aliens. They had no idea what they were about to face. The destruction of their flagship should have taught them that human weapons were far more powerful than anything they had ever seen before. Danny, open a channel to all the alien ships, Captain Monroe ordered. Channel open, Captain. Sub-Coordinator Kethvon, this is Captain Monroe. I can see that some of your ships are preparing to attack us again. This is a mistake. I strongly advise you to order them to stand down. The reply came quickly, and the alien's voice was filled with desperation and rage. Captain Monroe, you have killed our High Coordinator and destroyed our flagship. The honor of the Zephyrian Collective demands that we avenge this insult. We cannot return home in defeat. Sub-coordinator, there is no dishonor in recognizing a superior force. Your leader made the mistake of underestimating humanity. Do not make the same mistake. We have weapons you have not seen yet, the alien replied. Our ships carry fusion torpedoes that can crack moons. We will overload our reactor cores and ram your ship if necessary. The collective will not be humiliated by a primitive species. Jake saw Captain Monroe's expression harden. She had tried to give the aliens a chance to retreat with dignity, but they were too proud to accept it. Very well, Sub-Coordinator. If you insist on continuing this fight, then we will finish it. But remember, you chose this path. The three attacking alien ships began accelerating toward the Leviathan. Their hulls started glowing as they charged their weapons to maximum power. Jake could see on the tactical display that they were putting everything they had into this final assault. Kevin, target all three approaching ships, Captain Monroe ordered. Use the missile system. Let us show them what human-guided weapons can do. Aye, aye, Captain. Loading fusion-tipped missiles. Each missile has independent targeting and can maneuver to avoid defensive fire. Jake watched as the weapons bay doors opened along the Leviathan's hull. 12 sleek missiles emerged and began accelerating toward the alien ships. Unlike the simple railgun projectile that had destroyed the flagship, these missiles were smart weapons that could think for themselves. The alien ships tried to shoot down the incoming missiles with their plasma cannons. Bright beams of energy lanced out across space, and several missiles exploded in brilliant flashes of light. But the human weapons were too fast and too smart. They dodged and weaved around the defensive fire like living things. Direct hits on all three targets, Kevin reported. The fusion warheads detonated inside their hulls. The three alien ships simply vanished in balls of nuclear fire. The explosions were so bright that the main screen automatically dimmed to protect the crew's eyes. When the light faded, there was nothing left but expanding clouds of superheated gas. The 8 remaining alien ships stopped moving entirely. They hung in space like they had been paralyzed by what they had just witnessed. Danny, are we receiving any signals from the survivors? Captain Monroe asked. Yes, Captain. Sub-Coordinator Kethvon is trying to contact us. He sounds broken. Put him on screen. The alien's face appeared on the main display, but he looked completely different now. His glowing skin had turned a pale gray color and his large dark eyes were filled with terror. When he spoke, his musical voice was barely a whisper. Captain Monroe, please. Please do not destroy the rest of us. We surrender. We will leave this system immediately and never return. We will tell the collective that humans are not to be disturbed. Captain Monroe's voice was firm but not unkind. Sub-Coordinator, I take no pleasure in destroying your ships. We came here hoping to make peaceful contact with your people. Your leader chose to make this a military encounter. I understand, the alien whispered. We have learned that we are not the strongest force in the galaxy anymore. Humans are different from any species we have ever encountered. Jake stepped forward. Sub-Coordinator, when you return to your people, tell them this. Humans do not want to conquer the galaxy. We do not want to destroy other civilizations. But we will not be threatened, controlled, or enslaved by anyone. Tell them that Earth's children are no longer content to stay in their home system. Captain Monroe added, we are spreading to the stars, and we will defend our colonies and our freedom with everything we have. The alien nodded weakly. I will deliver your message, Captain. The collective will need time to understand what has happened here. Sub-Coordinator, one more thing, Captain Monroe said. Monroe, if your people ever want to establish peaceful relations with humanity, you are welcome to try. But approach us as equals, not as rulers trying to control subjects. I understand, Captain Monroe. We will remember this lesson. The 8 surviving. Alien ships slowly turned away from the Leviathan and began moving toward the edge of the star system. Their elegant forms looked small and fragile against the vast darkness of space. Jake watched them go and felt a mixture of sadness and satisfaction. Captain, Amy Rogers reported, the alien ships are entering hyperspace. They are leaving the system. Good, Captain Monroe replied. Set course for Earth, Amy. It is time to go home. As the Leviathan turned toward Earth, Jake looked back at the debris field where the alien ships had been destroyed. In just a few minutes, humanity had announced its arrival on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. Captain, what happens now? Jake asked. Lisa Monroe stared out at the stars where humanity's future was waiting. Now, Commander, we prepare for whatever comes next. Word of this battle will spread throughout the galaxy. Some civilizations will want to be our friends. Others will see us as a threat that needs to be eliminated. She smiled grimly. Either way, they will all learn the same lesson that the Zephyrians learned today. Humans do not surrender. We do not give up. And we do not lose. The UES Leviathan jumped into hyperspace, carrying the news of humanity's first victory to Earth. Behind it, the wreckage of the Zephyrian fleet served as a warning to anyone else who might try to threaten the children of Earth. The galaxy had just learned that a new apex predator had arrived, and the balance of power would never be the same again.